Two Liberal MPs have backed calls for the Australian government to seek the return of journalist Julian Assange to the country. This after Australian Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce called the Wikileaks founder's extradition unfair. As you know, last week, the UK High Court ruled that Assange could be extradited to the US, which Assange's legal team has vowed to appeal. Assange's brother and filmmaker Gabriel Shipton joins us now to discuss. Welcome, Gabriel.
Thank you, Ryan.
And so talk to us more about this Australian strategy. So would Australia try to do something official to get between the US and the UK? Or is this more just to raise kind of the political cost of what the US is doing?
Yeah, so I think there's a large contingent of lawmakers in Australia that support Julian being released. It's 28 lawmakers. There's one being added on every month, and after calls from Barnaby Joyce, who's the Deputy Prime Minister, for Julian not to be extradited, I think that the sort of pressure within Australia is building, and I think Australia is key in negotiating a political settlement of this case. So that part of the Australian campaign, I think, will be key, to the charges against Julian be dropped. I mean, Australia is massively a huge strategic ally of the US. This AUKUS agreement that was done last month. So Australia does have a very close relationship with the US, and they are strategically important. So with that in mind, they could potentially use that relationship to bring Julian back to Australia.
I'm reading, this is a headline from MSNBC from this morning. Julian Assange extradition could mean even more legal trouble for Donald Trump. It's about how this extraditing Assange could resurrect the seminal questions from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
So Gabriel, apparently that's how we get MSNBC interested in this.
Right. But I think they're interested in it not in a favorable way to Julian Assange, right? They want him brought here and waterboarded until he tells the mainstream, until it tells the resistance press what he knows about Donald Trump and Russia. Gabriel, are you finding support, voices of support among because obviously this isn't being discussed in the media. Are there people in in elected positions in U.S. government, in the Democratic Party who are frustrated and opposed to what the Biden administration is doing?
Yeah, I think people are. There are people within the Democratic Party who get the principle. This is about press freedom. It's about the First Amendment, and it's not about Trump or Russia or anything like that. It's about revelations that were published in 2010, and so there are many people out there who get the principle. I mean, if we were to say jail, you look at countries that jail their political opponents, and they're mostly tyrannies, right? Like jailing your political opponents is something that's done, in authoritarian places. So I think people get the principle that this is about First Amendment rights, it's about freedom of speech, it's about freedom of press, and on that basis, it should be dropped. And we should just, all this 2016 stuff is just a distraction.
Health-wise, how is your brother doing after his mini stroke that he had recently? What we're seeing here of Julian is a slow motion murder, basically, and the mini stroke is just another. It's another condition of his that is from this ordeal that he's been experiencing since he was first arrested 11 years ago in the UK. A week after the Cablegate was published. So, I think what we can expect is more of this, and we live in fear that it won't be a mini stroke that he survived and can be medicated for. It will be, something worse, and that he won't survive. He won't survive this ordeal, and that's the sort of state of affairs there. I think, slow motion murder is what we're seeing.
And is he getting the care that he needs under the circumstances he's in? Probably not getting the greatest care there is.
Yeah, he is getting the medical treatment he needs, but obviously it's better for him to be at home with his family recovering. The medical treatment, if he was on bail, would be much better. It's going to be his third Christmas in Belmarsh prison. He's held there solely at the request of the US DOJ. He hasn't been convicted of any crime. So it's up to, this could be stopped immediately by the Biden administration, and he could go home tomorrow. I think Alec Baldwin has killed more people than Julian Assange. So, he should just be sent home to his family.
And friend of Rising and host of the Katie Halper Show and co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast will be hosting a free Assange live stream tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Former Rising hosts Crystal and Sagar will be there, along with Marianne Williamson, Congressman Ro Khanna. I'll be there. You'll be there. Everybody who's watching now should be sure to tune in. But Gabriel, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Robbie.
And we will have more Rising right after this.